She-ness Tribe, Wednesday. Ooh, today is a very important topic, particularly for us women. How do you release trapped emotions in a feminine body? Wednesday. Oh, this is all new, you guys. I'm so sorry.
It's a very important topic.
I don't even know. They changed how you stream in here, and now it's echoing me. Oh, Lordy. I don't know. Let's try this. Okay. We're going to learn this new Zoom stuff that's happening in Facebook. So today is a very important topic, how to release emotions through the feminine body. A feminine body is different than a masculine body. What I want to emphasize for us today is that we have to know, as enlightened women, we are powerful as men, if not more powerful in some ways. They're more powerful in some ways. On average muscles, we're more powerful in other ways. But we are different, and it is okay to be different. We are equal and different. We're equal and different. And the moment we start to recognize how much we get to be different, we get to own that uniqueness about us that's called being feminine, that we get to do things differently and still come out with incredible results. We get to honor the body that we live in, which has been so neglected, demoralized, and demeaned societally for so long, and sexualized. And we've bought into the apologizing of being female, of the body that we walk in, of the emotions that we have, of the need to collect other human beings and be in community, for the ways that we go about and see things differently. We all have our unique gifts and talents, and some of us have also some more feminine qualities and some have some more masculine qualities, all a part of who we're exactly supposed to be. I'm Roya Mattis. I'm CEO of SHE-ness Tribe, and it is Wednesday, and this is called Releasing Trapped Emotions. In SHE-ness Tribe, we believe in unification, fully to self. So let's figure out the light and the dark, the yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine. And then we're also inviting our sisters, eliminating competing and comparing, and really continue to emphasize the power of collection, and then to unify with our men too. Yeah. So the quality, let's talk about femininity for 1 second, what it actually is in one sentence I'm going to give you today, because that's not really what this topic's about. It's about releasing trapped emotions, but we're going to do it in a way that'll be different than a masculine at core would be. So what is uncommercialized feminine energy, uncommercialized masculine energy? The best and simplest way that I can express it to you is like this. Masculine's purpose is quantity. So quantity is from the masculine, the ability to do, collect, achieve, gather, like get. That's quantity. The feminine energy is primarily quality. The quality of life comes from the feminine. The quantity of life comes from the masculine. The quantity of life comes from the masculine. The quality of life comes from the feminine. Our ability to enjoy and embody the fruits of our labors, the ability to be able to see all of what we have been able to accomplish and to include other people and to enrich the experience is the quality that comes from feminine. And so if you find that you're driving hard, and you're just not experiencing the value of what you've just done, or you're not able to be present in the moments you want to be present in, you're driving in a lot of masculine energy and shoving that feminine energy down. We have different ways to call her. It took me a full year to realize I was feminine at core, because I'm a winner and so are you. It doesn't mean we're not winners. It means that we have an essence within us that needs to be honored, that actually when it is honored, we get the layer of superpower instead of driving on this one burnout engine that will eventually feel taxing, difficult. In coaching women for over 20 years, on average, we feel guilty as parents. We're in passionless relationships, or less than the passion we want, and we're feeling like other women are catcalling and backstabbing. We're generally not enjoying the fruits of our labor. So how do we get there? Becoming unlocked is in the safety of feminine. When women gather biologically, did you know that our heartbeats actually physically begin to sync with one another? That they begin to sync with one another, unless it's a guarded feminine. Now, what's the difference with a man? Men bodies that are primarily masculine do not sync their heartbeats with other men or other women when they gather together. It is a biological showing that women are biologically connected and we begin to pulsate as one. That is where we have the most strength when it's used in a healthy way. Feminine grows through inclusion. It's a daily practice to have more enjoyment, more fruits of your labor, more flow by gathering with sisters in sisterhood, finding healthy community, which is why we have what we have here, and we want to grow it even more. And I'm looking forward to that. And the second is embodiment practice. So when we have a negative emotion, emotion carries energy. You can feel that energy. You can feel the energy of lightness and joy, and you can feel that energy of heaviness and sadness, and you can feel the energy of burn and anger, for example. Yeah? You can feel the euphoria of new love. Energy is in emotion. So what happens when we don't take healthy respect to the emotion that we have? That energy has to go somewhere. And if it's not effectively removed, it will be deposited in your body. And you will receive either a long-term repercussion of disease, and it can show up in small things, in small ways, from indigestion to gas to bloating to irritability to muscle aches and pains to hair loss to, I think I said acid reflux, to vaginal infections. It can show up in those kind of tiny ways. And then it can show up in bigger ways like disease. So of things like cancers and autoimmune diseases. Not necessarily, but they have been shown to be linked. Now, they also can show up in dysfunction. When they're not released properly, they can embody in your spirit, your subconscious, to put you in that state on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, or on a triggered basis. Your triggers are still then deeply rooted in there instead of released out. And now you're finding that you get anger more anger than you'd like to. You fire off faster than you want to. You have less patience than you like. You're just kind of agitated, smoldering a little bit. You're not able to really feel the joy at the depth you want to feel the joy, and your belly lasts shorter because you've deposited these agitations in your system. So there are 4 ways to move emotions out of the body. Okay, you ready? 4 ways to move emotion out of the body. Number 1, it doesn't mean in this order in particular, but one of the ways to remove it is through breath. Breathing intentionally and releasing through breath. The second way is through writing, intentional writing, which is why we talk about how important it is to ask powerful questions when you journal, because pitiful questions get pitiful answers. Powerful questions get empowering answers. So writing or learning to brain dump a single word and all the words around it smattered on the page releases that energy out of your body. Breathing, writing. Third way is movement, which I'm going to share with you today. Moving that emotion through the body, and sound. Sound moves it out, which is why talking can help, but also yelling if it needs to be, crying if it needs to be, moaning if it needs to be. Different sounds that feel right to you, sounds, okay? Movement can also be done in nature, which is why we talk about going to nature and getting grounded, touching trees, laying in grass, going barefoot, having a walk or a hike, breathing in that air. That's breath work there as well as embodiment. So with some of the movement things, I want to talk to you about finding out your feeling or your disease or discomfort by body signals. So one of the ways we can trap release emotion is by acknowledging that it's there and inviting it to leave once we understand. Your body is actually trying to get your attention a lot, and you're ignoring it a lot. So if you have a headache and you don't ask your body why, if you have a stomach ache, if you have constipation, if you have pains anywhere, if you have bloating and irritability, You get to ask your body what it's trying to tell you. And I know that that can sound like hocus pocus and weird, and like for certain kind of people that can listen to their body like that. I was so surprised the first time I tried. I'm like, I actually got an answer. I don't know if I trust that answer. It's weird that I got an answer. Did I really get an answer? And the answer is yes, you did. Your instinct, your intuition will be able to step in. You just have to trust to hear that boop that comes in your brain. That's truth. Okay. So, how do you ask your body? Go to the source of the pain. Let's say the pain is in your neck. Let's just, because you can see me here on the neck. So let's go to the source of pain in the neck. And you literally touch the place of pain. And you ask your body, all right, I got this tension in my freaking neck. I've got it up in my jaws. I'm hearing you, body. I'm trying, I'm listening. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to tell me. Why do I have this tension? What are you trying to get my attention for? What's going on in my neck and my jaw right now? What are you trying to tell me? And then then that first answer is the real answer. Now at this point, you can do many different things. You can just acknowledge it and say, I got this. I will do that if that's the kind of answer you got. And once you have the acknowledgement, sometimes it goes right away. So now you used your voice, right? You can breathe through it, which I'm going to show you. You can move through it, and you can moan, scream, shout, yell, whimper, whatever through it. Okay. So it's telling you something. It wants your attention, and you can go, okay, oh, it's how I'm feeling about, let's say, my job. It's how I'm feeling about how I'm not showing up in the way that I want to, and I really screwed up. Okay, let me do some breath. Intentionally looking at feeling that space, being witness to it, and going, okay, I'm going to breathe in. So now you're speaking to yourself on things. I'm going to breathe in confidence, and I'm going to breathe out insecurity. Breathing confidence right to that spot. Imagine insecurity coming out. Breathe in forgiveness. You can do it with me. Breathe out judgment. Any of the negative words that come out to you in your question that you ask, any of those things, breathe in the opposite and breathe out the negative. Breath work. Breath work can also come in oxygenation. So you can intentionally breathe in oxygen through your diaphragm. You can hold your breath. You can push it out to empty your lungs through a straw, and you can do that 10 to 30 times. And that breath work helps the clearing of your body. And you can be intentional about what you're breathing in and what you're breathing out, or you can just be present to oxygenating and giving love back into your body. They have healed major diseases if you Google it through breath work alone. And actually, you can overbreathe and over-oxygenate and kill yourself, which is pretty hard to do, but it is possible. That's how powerful breath and lack of breath is. Moving the body. Okay, so if I have a pain of something that I can move, or I want to emote certain pains, I can do that through movement. Now, this is another thing that I teach in private class, how to really emote emotion, anger, rage, sadness, grief, those kind of things through and get to pleasure and joy. We're not going to go through that today, but I am going to show you how to move the tension out, for example. Now, let me see if you guys can still see me if I go to here. Okay, so let's say that you have pain in your hips. Your hips are speaking to you. Now, hips actually can hold a lot of signals, and usually it's masculine disappointment. A lot of times if you carry fat in your hips, it can be a sign or signal that you have released, trapped, negative emotions about some masculine in your life or masculines in your life, men of some kind. That is an indication in hip weight, just as a side. Remember, fat is there can be a protective against emotion. It can like encompass the unreleased emotion. But once you acknowledge it, you release it, it can go, oh, I no longer have to be here to protect her from it. She's fine. So once I acknowledge it, okay, ow, it hurts. I'm going to actually press into the pain instead of ignore the pain. So in your body movement, instead of ignoring that pain, what if you pushed into it? And you gave yourself, your body, the permission and your inside the opportunity to go, I hear you. Gosh, I'm going to stop ignoring you here. Yeah, what are you trying to tell me? Or let me just like really focus on leaning in to ask it to leave. If it doesn't get your attention in small moments, it's going to get louder. So the benefit of learning to release emotions as they come is they don't have to get loud and debilitate and slow down your life. Does that make sense, you guys? If things are coming up for you, questions are coming up for you, I'm going to see if I can see comments in here on the new way they have it. I believe so. I think I'm in the right place. So I will, yeah, I'll look for your questions or your comments. Okay. Using your voice. Using your voice. I did not realize how much I grew up with the modeling of voice swallowing, of truth swallowing. And I unconsciously have been doing it most of my life. That I didn't want to seem bratty. I didn't want to be a jerk. I didn't want to make people upset. And so I started to, if I use my voice a little bit and then I get a lot of pushback, not necessarily in business, but in my personal life, then it'd be like, okay, I'll just be quiet on that. Have you guys ever done that before where it's like, oh, I don't want to cause a stir. It's just not worth it. I'm just going to be quiet on that. And then you end up being quiet on something else. And then you use your voice and then you feel like a jerk. And then and then you try to change your pattern, but then you're not feeling that good because you're kind of like walking on eggshells. And so one day I was in the rehab room with my mom. My mom was in rehab for over 2 years before she died. She died September 30th, 2019. So it wasn't too long ago. And she's in her, at this point, we thought we were going to lose her, and she ended up getting another second wind. So it was 3 weeks I spent the night 24/7 with my mom for 3 weeks. And into week 1, right after we thought that was the end, she got a big boost. She looked at me and gritted teeth. And this is how my mom operated. And this is how a lot of us operate. This is how women can operate. Not all, but some of us, where she's talking through her clenched teeth because she's feeling a certain way, but she's not giving herself full permission to feel that way. She's angry and she feels trapped and she's sad and she's frustrated. And she puts on a happy face. When the people leave and it's me and her, she looks in my eyes and she says, I just want to scream. You guys, the moment you want to scream, your body is begging to scream. Now, there are appropriate places to do it and not appropriate places. So if you need to go drive away in your car, you drive away in the car. If you need to go scream in a pillow, you scream in a pillow. Whatever you need to do, but you need to allow it to happen at some point instead of pretending like you're fine without it. You're not fine. You're not fine. You don't have to be fine all the time. You do have to honor yourself and you do command growth in yourself, but it starts with self-acknowledgement first and honoring where your emotion is. So it's like, Mom, if you want to scream, let's scream then. And I walked over to her door and I closed it shut, the big rehab center door. And I came back and went, and I looked at her and her eyes were as big as saucers, shocked. Oh my God, she just screamed. Oh my God. And then it happened. Her jaw barely opening because she was so used to stifling her voice and went, Mom, do you need to do it a third time? No, I'm good now. We need to raise our voices and we need to give each other permission to just emote sometimes. Your children need that permission too sometimes. They need to emote because guess what? Not every feeling you have has vocabulary to it. When someone asks you, tell me how you're feeling, sometimes you can't articulate it, nor should you in that moment because you haven't processed it yet. So give yourself and other people you love permission to just emote the freaking emotion sometimes. Instead of having to be so linearly logical about it all. Well, sometimes you're not. And that is a part of being human, and that's a part of being feminine, and that's a part of being in a healthy body. It doesn't mean you get full reign to go and attack people with it. It means you get full reign to express in a way that is healthy for you to allow it to be acknowledged. And for children, in my opinion, we need to step back and let them emote it sometimes and then teach them how to emote it in a way that's not destructive but constructive. Washing with nature. Sometimes we just need to hug a tree. It is so true. We need to touch a leaf. We need to breathe ocean air. We need to stick our feet in the sand and on the grass. We need to go in a mountain and we need to look upon it. We need to see the sky and observe the moon and give appreciation for it. Sometimes we need to be up high in an airplane and look at the clouds and realize how small we really are and how grand creation and God is. Sometimes we just need to remember whose we are and how we get to be here. And we get to create our experience. Nature can wash us back. How do you ground yourself into the root and the core? There are practices for that as well. If you are feeling like you're getting really, really heady and really out of touch with your physical instincts of what you're supposed to do as far as your God and those kind of things, or you're just feeling like scattered, you can literally sit in a chair. I recommend you take your shoes and your socks off. If you can be in nature, even better. You put your feet on the floor, and I'm going to walk you through just a moment of things to allow yourself to feel grounded and then come back into what you were doing, which centers the nervous system, okay? So you literally close your eyes and you will imagine tiny roots sprouting from the base of your feet. If you'd like to do this really quick, we're going to do it in like 1 minute, okay? I'm just going to do a 1 minute quick through. You can go more detailed when you do your own. So you put your bare feet on the floor of the ground and you literally imagine little sprouts coming from the base of your feet. Little sprouts that grow into bigger roots. And these sprouts go through the base of the floor, into the ground, past the worms, through the rock, and now it's in thick, dense rock and it's headed. These roots are growing stronger and wider and thicker that are still attached to the base of your feet. Do you feel that? And those roots are headed toward the center of the earth, and it gets to the core of the earth, all the energy, all the fire, the magnetism of the earth, and it grabs a little ball, a couple balls of energy from the center of the earth, which travel in a light ball of all shimmering gold and silver and puce and all the beautiful shimmers of light come through these balls, and they come up through the base of the roots, and the roots from the center core of the earth, now those large roots that have hit the center of the core, and they travel up each side each main root path, and it's going now through the deep rock of the earth, and it's gotten to the soil and the small rocks and to the worms, and now up through this base of the earth and up through the foundation. Here comes these glowing balls of energy from the center of the earth, and they meet the base of your feet, and whoosh, they spread. This light from the center of the earth is now spreading and flooding through your feet and washing it with healing energy from the base of your feet down to, up to your calves, through your knees. It's washing with incredible light energy source in the core of the earth. And you continue to imagine it traveling up and over your body. Now, there's other ways to connect as well. In our workshops, we'll go through that. You can connect your heart and your mind and get answers that you're looking for. Many ways to do that, but it's in the body. Let's continue to talk about releasing trapped emotions. So we've gotten grounded now, which allows us to feel what we need to feel, hear what we need to hear, and ask the important questions and be able to trust the answers. Hold a loving human allows you to release negative and trapped emotions. If you can go to someone that you know cares about you and that you care about back, if you hug her or him heart to heart, so your left to their left, so that you can begin to feel each other's heartbeat and ask for no words at this time. And maybe that you want to communicate through your eyes only. And it could be with someone you feel a lot of pain with, but you love each other. And there are no words at this point, or the words could be damaging, that you can't articulate everything yet, but you're feeling love. You're feeling a need for connection. You're feeling a need to rebond with that person, or you need that person to give you that love that you're craving at that moment to kind of center yourself again. You go heart to heart and you hold there, breathing deeply and intentionally looking for the feeling of their heartbeat. And you ask to have love sent to you prior to the embrace or understanding or need or willingness to connect. And you're sending that to them. And then you pull away when you're ready and you look in each other's eyes and you tell that person all of your pains, all of your sorrows, all of your anger, all of your love, all the things you want to emote, but you say nothing. And you look into their eyes and you say it all, like something like this. And I'm going to say something I want to say to the community with just that alone, with just the silence. When you have someone in that way, it's a whole nother level when you look into their eyes. So much can be done in emoting emotion with no words at all. Journaling, that's the writing or the words smattering with a powerful question, not a why question, but a what within me question. And then if you're not a journaler, you can put a negative word in the middle of the paper, or a problem that you're having, a relationship, a job name, parenting stuff, and then smatter all your negative words around with no filter, because you can burn this, you can toss it away, you can flush it down a toilet, but there needs to be no filter. And once it's cathartically on the paper, it's amazing the weight that can come out of you that you weren't even realizing you may have been carrying for a very long time. Additional workshops are available for you if this has begun to bring things up. Getting into and not ignoring, emoting and moving through and out emotions that we're feeling, and to be able to have different sources and resources in order to do that and to pass it along to other women, to men, and to children too, is my wish for this community. We're deep in the work in Your Great Reveal right now. We are on week 2 of becoming an energy magnet. If something has resonated in you and you want to talk to me about the next upcoming one or private conversations, I am here for you. I pray that our community is a light torch for women to not only love fully and freely others, but to love fully and freely yourself. God bless you. Love you guys. See you soon.